And okay, hello everybody, this is Bloody Sword. Haven't done a video in a really long time, but I'm going to try and actually be consistent this time with doing some replay analysis of some ladder games that I'm going to be playing over, well, as I just play. So this time we are going to be playing a TVP. I don't actually remember this the map name for this, but it is going to be a TVP against our Protoss player. He's going to be named Wanderlust, MDC Wanderlust. And it's going to be me, the Terran player, bottom right. So, recently TVP has been a problem matchup for me. Mainly because Twilight openings are very strong, and I originally started back in Legacy of the Void with the 2-1-1 opening, practiced that a lot, but as I started to progress through the leagues, or just go through the ladder, I realized that the 2-1-1 isn't extremely strong against Twilight openings. It has a very hard time doing any form of damage because Blink Stalkers can prevent a lot of any form of drop harass and stuff like that. They have a couple of Blink Stalkers in here. Once you get your medevac over here, they'll just blink snipe it and then you won't be able to do any damage. Occasionally they'll have the Blink Stalkers very aggressively positioned, and if you try and load up your medevacs, they'll just be snapped out of the sky, which I've had a very hard time with. But in the meantime, my opponent is going to be going for a Nexus, and I've also been playing around with a build that Innovation played. Light spoilers, it was in the IEM tournament that was recently played. He did a Raven opening, and I've actually seen a lot of Terran players versus Protoss go for a Raven opening. Going to see this micro for a little bit and get 2 probe kills, I believe. Yeah, 2 probe kills, but I also lose my Reaper. I did scout the Twilight, but only seeing the Twilight without seeing actually it researching is not that great. I placed my Marines here because a lot of Protoss players have been going for really aggressive openings with these Stalkers. As we can see right here, he tries to focus down a Marine, but then decides to pull back. I realized he's probably going to be going for the other ramp, so I decided to send my Marines there. Lucky guess, and then was able to just fend off the Stalkers, and also picked off a Stalker. So if you look at the units lost tab, doing pretty well. If I didn't lose that Reaper, we'd be in even a better position in those terms. Opponent is going to be setting up a proxy pylon. I'm going to be sending my Marines back to just group them up. I actually don't know if I saw that Stalker, but regardless, I had vision of it. I know I didn't see it, but I don't know if I had vision of it or not. Opponent now has his robo done at 5 minutes, so that's a good thing to remember for future. And Observer off of a Twilight Blink build will get to your base at around 5 minutes and 15 seconds. So the annoying thing about this, I just had my Raven finish, so rallying and positioning to start off was kind of bad. If I had set my rally point to my main base and then tried to scout for observers instead of going directly to the natural, maybe keeping a single Marine here in order to spot for aggressive stalkers from this angle or more around this area, then I could have just placed my Marines right here at the ramp, so then I could have swung to my natural expansion or my main base, and I think that would have been better, especially setting the Raven closer to the main base to scout for this. But regardless, going to be continuing to play this replay. He tries to target down the Typhon. This one was luckily only combat shield, so it's not too big of a deal. And I think the build order actually could have been a little bit swifter here, but we can take a look at that after. And let's see here. I think I got supply blocked for a little bit as well, which is why this medevac isn't at the same time. He also does some cute blink micro, but a couple of auto turrets towards the back actually picks off a lot of the Stalkers because he wasn't paying too close attention, which actually makes it great for me. In terms of units lost, he lost a lot of Stalkers to this Raven, and 6 kills on a Raven is really incredible, especially since they're all Stalker kills, and Stalkers are expensive, and they don't do that great late game. So whenever an opponent goes for Stalkers, it's kind of annoying in the early game because I can't really do too much pressure, but as we transition to the late game, I'm pretty happy with it. So just going to be continuing to mass up. I get 2 more barracks before I start my 3rd CC. I feel like this refiner was also late because my engineering bay finished a while ago, but I wasn't able to start it immediately as well. Going to be picking off an observer, so he does know that this is coming, and I did actually see that I killed an observer while I was moving across the map. Have to be a little bit careful here. His army positioning could have been a little bit better, but I think he was mainly concerned about me dropping into the main base. I'm not sure if he saw the medevacs, but regardless, really bad micro on that Raven here. I could have saved it very easily, and I really didn't get too much damage done. While that micro was going on, I believe I floated a few minerals, but in the meantime, I'm going to be setting up a drop up here. In the meantime, I loaded up from this rally point at my natural expansion, loaded up some medevacs, and the important thing that I tried to do was drop these two at the same time. Going to be dropping into the natural, pick off a forge, and then dropped into the main base, killed an Artosis pylon, and this storm does a lot more damage than it needed to. I could have babysat that a little bit better. Miss rally for my SCVs, and then I also didn't start my orbital command. So I was able to win this game. I don't think he was in that terrible of a position. He did lose quite a few probes, but just in terms of army value, he wasn't too far behind, and especially since I really don't have a way to deal with the High Templar, except for a lot of splitting and a lot of medevacs. He's definitely not in a bad position in terms of army. The repositioning of this drop into the third base was strong, since he didn't keep any of the Templar. If he just kept like a couple of High Templar at the natural expansion instead of just like clicking up into the main base, I would have been in a really bad position as well. So let's see. I want to actually go back to around this position. I'm going to be slowing down and looking what I'm seeing. So if we just get control of me, I'm not doing any form of macro while I'm looking at this, and I'm also trying to just disable some of the High Templar, but at this point, there's so many High Templar that disabling just like one is not worth it. I should have probably just sent an anti-armor missile on these zealots. And again, in the production tab, I do start these up, but I don't have any medevacs queued. I definitely have enough minerals for it. I'm actually not even sure if this stutter step micro is worth it because it's so APM intensive, and I mean, I'm not completely set up back home. I'm starting my +1 armor, but I could also be getting, I should have gotten my 4th refinery, I should have gotten my 2nd engineering bay, and also the armory as well, since I already have my 3rd base in production. So I'm not entirely sure if this was worth it or not. Pulling back was definitely worth it, but beyond that. So again, going to be looking at what I'm trying to focus on. Do a little bit of pickup micro, and actually going to focus the camera here. Go again for setting up that second drop. And in my 3rd base, I now see that I'm pretty ready. And in terms of production, how much do I actually have queued up here? Because I feel like I queued up a couple extra Marines in the queue, actually queuing up an extra set of Marauders as well. And if we look at this, so at this point, I see that there's nothing at the natural expansion, so I should have been able to snap back quickly to my 3rd base, morph that into an orbital command, and then snap back to here. I feel like I'm spending too much time looking at things to confirm if it's happening or not. So, and this I just wasn't microing. I don't exactly know what I was doing at this point in time. So let's snap back, take a look at that real quick. So we'll just have to look at the minimap to actually know what I was looking at. Natural expansion's good. Main base is good. I'm trying to send this group to the 3rd base, but that doesn't, it really doesn't do too much damage. I should have probably just not even done that. But I was mainly just looking at that natural expansion drop, get the pylon. Again, this didn't do too much damage because there was a cannon there. And I think I was looking at this drop in order to see if I could re-drop, but he had stalkers there at that point. So I, for next time, I'm going to try to focus less on confirming something that I already know. If I also just sent a scan right here, I could have confirmed whether there was army there or not, instead of having to spend like the extra few seconds looking at this um, drop to make sure that there were no units. So we'll work on that for this next time. Hope you guys enjoy this analysis, and I will see you guys later.